On our river cruise, as we were sailing through the Wachau Valley of Austria, we arrived at a small port stop at Immersdorf to experience a pastry class and then learn about bees and enjoy honey from a local beekeeper. As we got to the port and stepped off the ship, we loaded into a very comfortable motor coach. We took the motor coach for a short drive to the Café Conditori Braun. The storefront faces a busy road and customers can enter through this main entrance, but the locals know that the best seats are in the back. Customers were enjoying the beautiful weather as they savored the delicious pastries and sweet. We saw many orders of Schaumrollen being delivered to the tables as we headed into the kitchen to participate in a pastry class to make our very own Schaumrollen. You may know this pastry as a Bavarian cream horn. It's a light, delicate pastry filled with cream. After getting our aprons on, the pastry chef and owner, Barbara Braun, showed us how each batch of dough is made. The dough itself has no sugar, so there's no sweetness to the dough. It can be used for a variety of pastries, both sweet and savory. The dough is layered with butter. It almost looked like there was as much butter as there was dough. It's a lot of butter. By folding and rolling each layer, the final dough has 144 layers to create a very flaky pastry. The shop is a family-owned business, and Miss Braun's grandfather rolled the dough out completely by hand before the rolling machine was made, which made this process much easier. Once the dough is folded and rolled to the desired texture, it must rest for 24 hours. Obviously for us, we didn't have 24 hours for this activity, so we used dough that had already been prepared. Now it was time for our class to roll our own Schaumrollen. The strips are cut with a multi-disc roller, so they are fairly even. We were given metal tubes to use. They were slightly cone-shaped, and we each rolled 2 Schaumrollen. This was important to roll the dough with the butter side out, otherwise the dough would stick to the metal tubes. We each had a little flag that we could put our name on so that the pastries would be easy to keep track of. One thing to note is we were in the kitchen and our backs were to the oven. So this was kind of a warm activity. Even those who were at our table that were on the other side and didn't back to the ovens, but actually faced them, still felt the warmth of the kitchen. Once the Schaumrollen were in the oven, we had a chance to taste the sweet filling. The light whipped feeling gave the Schaumrollen its sweetness. Once baked to perfection, the dough slips right off the metal tubes. Really cool. Pastry bags of filling were passed around, so we each had the chance to fill our pastries. We enjoyed one of the Schaumrollen right there in the kitchen while it was still warm, and then we all bagged up the second to enjoy later. Upon completion of our class, we were given a special certificate. We were chefs, well, at least assemblers. We loaded up the bus and we headed to a nearby beekeeper to learn about bees. The beekeeper not only caters to those visitors coming down the Danube, also his display is used to educate school children, as different schools will send groups of kids to visit his bee farm. The outdoor display has plants and trees perfect for the bees, as well as a small hive to see the bees in action. The beekeeper has designed a cute beehive-shaped hut that offers an educational experience, and we were able to view the inside and have a small presentation to learn some of the facts of the bee life cycle. The bees produced 2,000 kilos of honey each year. Amazing. We then headed across the path to the bee bar. The beekeeper had created this retail place that was both a place to purchase packaged honey products, as well as a section of tables that was set aside to enjoy some of the honey right there. In the bee bar, we were able to see exhibits of Honeycomb, sample interesting honey products like air-dried bee pollen. We sampled various honey that looked and tasted different because it was harvested in different seasons. I didn't realize, but spring honey tastes very different than fall honey. There was even honey mead and honey vinegar. Once we completed the demonstration, there was time to enjoy the store and make purchases if we desired. Once we headed back to the ship and sailed down the Danube, we didn't realize, but this excursion wasn't quite over. You see, in the morning when we got ready for breakfast and loaded our plates on the buffet, we noticed that the river cruise ship had purchased some honeycomb that dripped fresh honey into a dish and allowed us to enjoy our breakfast. Would you be interested in learning more about river cruising? Storyline Travel has created a river cruising guide that we'd love to give you. Head on over to our website, storylinetravel.com, and sign up for our river cruise guide. We'd love to share more about river cruising with you. So you can see at Storyline Travel, we see that every adventure is a story waiting to be told.